Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are in the world. We hope you've been enjoying and learning from HDI 2015, a digital experience. In just a few moments, we'll be presenting Big Impact, Low Cost, Show Them the Love with Beth Jacobson. I'm Roy Atkinson, and I'll be your moderator today. We have just a few announcements before we begin. If you experience any difficulty with the webinar itself, you can get help by clicking on the green question mark at the bottom of your screen. You can participate in the Q&A session by asking questions at any time during the webcast. Click on the red QA button and just type your question into the Ask a Question text area below the video window and then click Submit. At this time, we recommend that you disable any pop-up blockers. To chat with others who are attending today, click on the group chat button at the bottom right of your screen. We love having you exchange ideas during the webinar. The slides will advance automatically throughout the event. You may also download a copy of the slides by clicking on the Download Slide button located below the presentation window. If you're experiencing any technical problems, please visit our help guide by clicking on the Help link below the media player. In addition, you can contact our technical support helpline, which is also located in the webcast help guide. You can connect with HDI on Twitter, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and on HDIConnect.com, where you can read a blog, ask a question, and find a solution. Well, to get things started today, we're going to have a little poll. Does your company have an employee recognition program in place? Yes or no? Do you already have an employee recognition program in place? I will just give you a few more seconds to answer the question. It's a yes or no, so it shouldn't be too hard for you. Okay. Let's take a look at the results. And it looks like about 2/3 of you do have an employee recognition program in place, and about 1/3 of you do not have a recognition program in place. So about 2/3 of you do, 1/3 of you don't. All right, maybe Beth can help you out with that. Beth Jacobson has more than 15 years of customer service experience, 7 of those at Infinite Campus, where she is currently the support administrator. Beth is passionate about recruiting, onboarding, event planning, and mentoring staff. In April 2013, her team was awarded the HDI Team Excellence Award for External Support. And believe you me, that is not an easy award to win. Beth is currently the VP of Programs for the HDI Minnesota local chapter. She received her BA in Sociology from St. Catherine University. Thanks for being here today, and take it away, Beth.
Thank you, Roy. I'm very, very excited to be here. I have been, what do they say, long-time listener, first-time caller. I have been a big fan of the HDI digital event since it began, so I'm very excited to be here and to be a part of this event. As Roy said, I have been in this industry for a bit of time, and my team actually did win the Infinite Campus Support. My Infinite Campus Support team, won the Team Excellence Award for HDI. I've spent actually about 18 years in customer service. When I did the math and added it all up, it's been a long time. I started in retail. I've worked in the restaurant industry. I've been in a variety of industries and have landed in the IT service and support industry, and I couldn't be happier. It's definitely the place for me to be. I am a wife and a mother, and although my slide says that he's only 14 months old, he's actually 16 months old now. He's growing up way too fast, so maybe this was kind of my way of keeping him little forever. Today I want to talk to you about employee appreciation and recognition. This is a very, very important topic for me. I'm very passionate about this topic. I think it's so important, especially in this industry, to appreciate our team and to give recognition to our team. As Scott Stratton said in his presentation, if you attended earlier today, typically we're not getting the phone calls to say, hey, just calling to say you're doing a great job. That's it. No issues. That doesn't happen in our industry. We're getting the phone calls from angry customers. We are confronted with problems that we need to solve and do it quickly. So that's why appreciation and recognition is so important to me, because my team, those of you out there doing this job, you need it more than anyone else. So appreciation versus recognition. Your appreciation is the good job, the pat on the back, thank you. It is, kind of a generic thing. Whereas recognition dives in a little deeper. It targets specific behavior versus that generic pat on the back. So instead of the thank you or good job, it's you did a great job asking the customer the questions that you needed to better understand what they were dealing with and get to the point where you could actually help them resolve their issue. So it's a little more specific. And what I want to talk about today are really both. I don't necessarily think that recognition is better than appreciation or vice versa. I think if you're doing either one, you're definitely a step ahead. We're not the only ones. I'm not the only one who's talking about this. This has been something that's been out there forever. Recognition is not a new thing. There's actually a $46 billion market for employee recognition. So if you think about the gold watches and the pins and the thank you awards, the plaques, those all fall into employee recognition. And research shows that companies are spending between 1% to 2% of payroll on these things. 87% of the recognition programs that are out there are focused on tenure. So how long you've been at the company. So it really doesn't matter how good you are at what you do, but as long as you stick with it and you stay with that company long enough, you might get some recognition. That's what I read into when I see this tenure-based reward. Additional research shows that tenure-based reward systems have virtually no impact on organizational performance. So you're not focusing on a specific behavior. You are just focusing on the fact that this person hasn't quit and gone somewhere else and that they are a good enough employee that you haven't had to let them go. Companies that score in the top 20% for building a recognition-rich culture actually have 31% lower voluntary turnover rates. So a lot of the things that I want to talk about today are about creating that recognition-rich culture, creating a culture in which peer-to-peer recognition just happens because that's the culture that you have. From that poll that we first did before we got started, 2/3 of you have a recognition program in place. Now, I didn't get specific in that question. I didn't ask if it's your company as a whole, or I didn't talk about, your individual departments if you're doing something. I am concerned, though, that 1/3 of you have no employee recognition program in place. So I hope that you'll find some tips out of here that you can take away. So let's talk about some best practices. Here's 5 best practices, things that I want you to continue to think about while you're creating your recognition program or maybe modifying an existing recognition program. The first is to recognize based on specific results and behaviors. So this goes back to, instead of, hey, good job, it's, great job de-escalating that customer, talking them down off the ledge. So specific behavior in that case. The second is to implement peer-to-peer recognition, not just top-down. Peer-to-peer recognition is I think one of the easiest things to implement, it's definitely the cheapest, which should appeal to anyone who's trying to save money on this type of thing. But I also see that it has such a huge impact. When one of my peers comes up and says, wow, you killed it in that presentation. Awesome job. To me, that means more to me than if one of my bosses comes up and says the same thing. So that's something to keep in mind. The next is to share recognition stories. And I will give a couple examples of this during my presentation, but something that you need to keep in mind here is tell everyone else how great someone is on your team. Or say it in a public setting so that they get those kudos versus sending an email and saying, hey, you did an awesome job, way to do this, this, and this. Make that a bigger deal. Say that in front of the entire team during a meeting. Make your recognition easy and frequent. It doesn't have to be an annual big recognition event. Those are nice. They can be nice. But it's nice when it's something that can happen more frequently than that, and it should be something easy. You don't have to put a lot of time into these ideas I'm going to share. The last one I want to talk about is tying recognition to your own company values or goals. I will show you that here in just a couple slides, actually. I think Infinite Campus Support does a great job of incorporating our core values in some of our recognition. So there actually is an Employee Appreciation Day. It's March 7th if you want to jot that down on your calendar. And you can celebrate that one day, or you can do it in one way, like an Employee of the Month type of thing. But I'm going to share with you some ideas to do more than just that. Now I've broken down all of these ideas based on cost, because I realize that the bottom line is very important to so many companies. Some of you might be working with huge budgets, and some of you might be working with no budget. So I'm going to present these, in a manner that is really tied to the cost. So just look for these symbols in the upper left-hand corner of the slides as I go through, and you'll see kind of where they fall into this range of cost. This first one is our recognition cards. Now, what I love about our recognition cards is it plays into that best practice number 2, which is the peer-to-peer, and it also taps into the core values. These are cards that we've made. They are the size of a business card. It's really just a piece of paper with a bunch of them on there, and we cut them out, so you don't even have to pay for card stock. We put our core values on one side of the card. So our motto in our team is to do the right thing. So we have that on there. And then we have our 5 core values of service, commitment, teamwork, learning, and leadership. On the other side of the piece of paper is pretty much a blank space. And it's an opportunity for our support team to write thank you notes to each other. Thank you for helping me out with this issue. Thank you for dealing with this difficult customer for me. Thank you for covering for me when I was on vacation, different things like that. So we have these available. They're all around our department. And then we have little fish bowls that we have them, that everybody throws them into once they're completed. Now, to take this a step further, because we could just take this and hand it out to the person that it was written to, and they can post it up at their desk. But we want to take it a step further and incorporate a fun game. So every month, our team gets together and does a team meeting. And we take those recognition cards and we play a game. Now, when I did this presentation at conference, I actually did this game live, which was a ton of fun. We got everybody involved. That's a little harder to do on a webinar, so I'm just going to walk you through the steps of what we do. The first thing that we do is we pull a recognition card out of the fishbowl, and we look to see who it was written to and who it was written from. We have both of those people come to the front of the room, and we read the recognition card, and then we have those two people play a little game. Now, I don't know if any of you remember the Minute to Win It TV show that used to be on, but that's where we get a lot of our ideas for our games. One game that we like to use frequently is this dice game. So they get a stick, like a tongue depressor that you get from the doctor's office, and they have to put that in their mouth. And then they have five dice that they need to stack one on top of the other. And the first one to get them stacked and hold it there, with just the tongue depressor, as you can see from this picture, the first one to hold it for 10 seconds. And it's a lot of fun to get the rest of the team involved. So have everybody count down, once they get those stacked up. Whoever can last the longest, the first one to get to that 10 seconds, is the winner. That winner then advances to a little Let's Make a Deal game. And these are the actual boxes that we have. They're just paper boxes that we've numbered. And that winner then gets the option of either a $5 gift card that they can take and go and sit back in their seat and we'll continue, or they can play Let's Make a Deal, and they can choose what they want they can choose one of the boxes. And now, just like Let's Make a Deal, in one there's a fabulous prize, and in the other two are zonkers. So in this one, let's see what our person won. Well, she chose box number 3, and it doesn't necessarily look like a fabulous prize. It was a zonker. In this case, it was a little rubber ducky and a flower lei. So better luck next time. What we usually do is put a $25 gift card or, a really good prize that has about a $25 to $30 value under one of the boxes. And if you're thinking, about how this is going to add up, I can tell you that less than 30% of the time that the good prize is chosen. So we've been doing this game for the past probably 3 years, and I think only 6 people have actually won the big prize. So there's not a huge expense to you for that, and you'll find that you can just keep reusing that really good prize over and over because nobody's winning it. The next thing I want to share with you is what we call our happy board. This one is where you get that story piece, the recognition stories tied in. We have an internal wiki page that we keep these. And what we do is we display any of the emails that come to the leadership team, anything that is unsolicited that talks about how great someone on our staff is. We document that, and then we recognize them at that monthly meeting. We pull this up, we share this story, we make a big deal out of it in front of the entire team. It embarrasses some people, I'll be honest. They don't really like that public recognition, but we think it's really important to share the story with everybody, and let them know that, your other team members are awesome. It says on there that they get a token. So this is what I mean by tokens. This is another thing that we do. Every one of our new hires gets a picture frame that we order, and it's a magnetic picture frame, and it has their name on it and our team name and our little motto, always do the right thing. And with that happy board, if someone has a really great story, they might get a token that they can put then on their board. The other kinds of tokens that we make with this, and I say make because we just get magnetic sheets of paper, and we've created what kinds of tokens we want. So we do tokens based on different training that they've achieved. So that's a specific achievement. Once they've successfully passed the training, they get a token associated with that. We have customer satisfaction tokens. So we have a customer satisfaction goal as a team of 95%. And if anyone on our team achieves 98% satisfaction or higher, they can earn a token. and they can earn those tokens on a quarterly and an annual basis. Another thing that we do is tenure. I mentioned that a lot of places do tenure-based things. We don't put a lot into that. We basically just have 2 tokens. If you've been here 5 years or 10 years, you get a token. We're a fairly new company. We're a fairly young company. We're less than 20 years old as a company. So we don't have anybody that's been here 15 years yet, but once we do, we'll probably make a token for that. And that's the beauty of doing the magnet paper. It can be really low cost. Make the tokens whatever you want them to be. So overall, what this ends up costing our team is about $20 per person to do these picture frames and the tokens. Another thing that we do is we purchase Strengths Finder books for everyone on our team. It's another thing that they get on the first day that they start. And, this isn't necessarily about employee appreciation, but it does recognize that everyone has different strengths and that we care about what each other's strengths are. So they get this book, they go through the process of figuring out what their strength is, and then everyone ends up proudly displaying their strengths. Either they print them out or they write them on the inside cover, on the cover of the book, and have it displayed out, which is a really cool thing. It's all part of creating the culture, which plays into so much of this. So the next few ideas that I want to share with you are really about having a lot of fun. Rubber duckies. These ones are one of my favorites. So we we celebrate Customer Service Week, which is the first full week in October, and it's something that we do every year. Now, we like to get everybody involved and dress up. We have a different theme. Think of like homecoming week back in high school, where you had a different theme every day to dress up. In order to get people more engaged, this last year, I went online and found rubber duckies to match each one of the theme days. So, of course, we have a competitive group of people, and not everybody was into it, but a lot of people were. So they were really interested in how they were going to earn each one of these rubber duckies, and they would proudly display them each day after they earned their duck. Now, this got to be such a big deal that I actually had one person who was going to be gone on one of the days. So the first day was Crazy Hair Day. The second day was about, being a support detective. The third day was our Hawaiian Day. The fourth day was Superhero Day, and the fifth day was Team Spirit. So this person was going to be gone for Hawaiian Day, but was going to be here for Superhero Day. So he came up to me and he said, "Beth, would it be okay if I combined Hawaiian Day with Superhero Day on Thursday? Can I get my Hawaiian ducky? Is it still possible to do that?" And I loved the creativity and the enthusiasm that this brought out in our team. And of course I said yes, and it was awesome to see, him dressed up in a Hawaiian shirt and a superhero cape on the same day. But these are a very low-cost thing, and now they've become so popular that I don't think I could do Customer Service Week without rubber duckies ever again. In fact, people are already starting to send me ideas of ducks, and they want to create the theme days in correlation with those ducks. Another thing that we do is holiday cards. This is really about recognizing the partners that we work with, because we create these cards. We do a group photo, create the cards. You can usually do something for pretty cheap. There's all sorts of codes and discount codes online to get cards made. And then we write a little note on the back and send that out to the partner organizations that we work with. Just a nice little way to recognize that we're not in this alone. We do have other people backing us up. We have a treasure chest set up in our department, and it's an inflatable treasure chest. You can get it online. It's less than $13. And we fill it every time we go to a conference or, we're at some sort of event and there's cups and pens and T-shirts and all of those types of things. We throw it into the treasure chest. So we're filling it for free. And then we have different opportunities to go and grab something out of there. Whether it's we've had a really hard day and the person who took the most calls can go pick something out of the chest. Or even if people are just having a hard day or a rough day and they struggled through, but they made it through a really tough call with a tough customer, hey, go on and grab something out of the treasure chest. You deserve it. The HDI Awards. If you are an HDI member and you are not nominating anyone for Analyst of the Year and or Desktop Support Technician of the Year, shame on you, because it's free. It's free if you're a member to do this. You can nominate up to 2 people for each category. It does take a bit of work to put the nomination together, but it's not that hard. And the reason I say it's not that hard is because at Infinite Campus, what we'll do is we go through a process of sending a survey out to our entire team to get feedback on who they think we should nominate. And in that, we're asking for different quotes. We're asking for reasons why they're so great. And then myself and a manager here, we put everything together and we take some of those quotes out there. So it's really not that much work, but we get the whole team involved. And when we have people, when we have our nominees go through our local chapter award ceremony, it's a very, very cool thing for them. We make a big deal out of it here, and it's an awesome way to recognize someone on your team. Even better if they, make it to the finals and get that free ride to the national conference. What an awesome, awesome opportunity for them. A little more peer-to-peer that we do, our People's Choice Awards. Again, we send out a survey. We've come up with a variety of different awards like the Bright Idea Award, the Energizer Bunny Award for that person who just keeps working and working and working. We also have the Rock Award for someone who's just solid like a rock. We do an MVP Award. We do a Rookie of the Year Award. So many fun awards, and we create them all ourselves. So the cost is really pretty minimal. I don't know if you can tell from that picture, but the Rock Award, it's literally just a rock glued to a board. That's it. So it's pretty cheap. But as you can see here, they're proudly displayed. We have the people who have won these awards have them at their desk. And our Rock Award has been won by the same person 2 years in a row, and our Energizer Bunny Award has also been won by the same person. But, they kind of group them all together and display them proudly. It's just a nice way to recognize how awesome they are. One other thing that we do is ordering in lunch. Now, we're actually very lucky here at Infinite Campus. We have free lunch every day except for the first Friday of the month. Our restaurant closes that day, and so our team is frequently kind of trying to figure out, oh my gosh, what are we going to do for lunch this day? Well, Gina, our support manager, loves Chick-fil-A, huge Chick-fil-A fan. So she decided one day, hey, let's order in Chick-fil-A. And I don't know if you know this, but Chick-fil-A will deliver to you for free if you order a certain amount of food. I don't remember how much it was, but we definitely hit that order amount, so they delivered for free. Well, Gina is full of bright ideas, and she thought it would be great if I also dressed up like a cow for this event to make it a bigger deal. And I'm not one to turn down a costume. So I got into that cow costume and was there to greet the Chick-fil-A delivery driver. He thought it was the coolest thing ever and took a picture with me to show his boss. And our team thought it was a super cool thing too. They didn't have to think about what they were going to eat for lunch. It got delivered to them, and I was walking around in a cow costume handing it out to them. So even better. Make it fun. We like to celebrate holidays here. We will celebrate Cinco de Mayo by going out and getting some churros or making some non-alcoholic margaritas, or we will celebrate obscure holidays. There's actually a website called daysoftheyear.com, and I checked. I'm not going to bring it up, but I did check, and today is May Ray Day. Ray is in sunshine rays. So as long as it's not raining where you are, I suggest you take advantage of May Ray Day today and go outside for a little bit. Not right now, though. Stick with me. I'd like you to stay here and see the rest of the webinar. Coffee Day. We are big coffee drinkers in our office. So to just shake things up a little bit on National Coffee Day, we bring in some different flavored coffees, different creamers, things like that to spice it up a little bit, better than the regular old coffee that we have down in the restaurant every single day. And it's a fairly cheap thing to do, whether you're getting it from a Starbucks or a Caribou or a Bruegger's Bagels or Einstein's. They all have these to-go containers of coffee, so it's just a fun thing to do. Celebrate.